Have you ever found yourself nodding along to a request, only to instantly regret it? Your stomach tightens, your mind races, and you're thinking, why the hell did I say yes again? See, I've been there more times than I like to admit. There was a stretch in my life where yes was my autopilot. Every favor, every invite, every last minute call. I'd say yes because I thought that's what being a good friend, a dependable person, a hard worker was all about. But here's the thing, underneath that people pleasing, I was drowning. I'd commit to something and instantly feel heavy, resentful, and out of alignment. Before I knew it, my days weren't even mine anymore. They were filled with things I didn't care about, for people who didn't know how exhausted I was. And that's when I learned something the hard way. Every yes I gave to avoid conflict was a quiet no to my peace. Welcome back to Hard Truths, the podcast where we break patterns, not promises, where we stop sugarcoating and start confronting what's holding us back. Today's topic? Saying yes. Saying it too much. Saying it when we don't mean it. And what it's really costing you. So let's talk. Let's start with something simple. Why do we celebrate busyness? Why do we applaud people who are always available, always helpful, always overbooked? We've made yes a virtue. But for many of us, that yes isn't grounded in values. It's rooted in fear. Fear of being left out. Fear of being labeled selfish. Fear of confrontation. But let me ask you this. How many of your yeses this week were actually about what you wanted? Every time you say yes, when your gut says no, your nervous system takes a hit. Your body can't tell the difference between real danger and emotional discomfort. So it kicks into gear. Think adrenaline and cortisol. That's subtle stress that lives in your shoulders, your stomach, your sleep. I know it too well. I used to wake up anxious, not because my life was overwhelmed, but because I had no boundaries. And here's the kicker. When you always say yes, your life becomes a string of other people's priorities. And that's how you lose track of what you actually care about. So why the hell do we do this to ourselves? Why do we keep saying yes when every part of us wants to say no? Let's go deeper. Because this isn't just about politeness. This is about safety. See, therapist Pete Walker calls it fawning, a trauma response. It's what happens when we've been conditioned to prioritize harmony over honesty. When we learned early that being agreeable keeps the peace, gets us approval, and helps us survive, we internalize the idea that our worth is tied to our usefulness. That saying no is rejection, and that boundaries are rude. So we bend, we overextend, and then we wonder why we feel resentful, exhausted, and invisible. But here's what I want to say to you. What kept you safe before might be what's keeping you stuck now. No one's coming to give you permission to reclaim your time. You have to give it to yourself. And if no one ever told you this before, let me be the first. No is a complete sentence. Let me tell you a story. There was a year where I said yes to everything. I didn't know how to stop. I was the yes guy, always down to help, always showing up, always running on empty. And one night, I left yet another event I didn't want to be at, sat alone in my car, and thought, this is what burnt out looks like, with a smile on top. See, I hadn't eaten, I hadn't rested, I hadn't laughed in weeks. Everyone thought I was thriving, but I wasn't living, I was just performing. That night, I pulled out my phone and I wrote one line in my notes. If it costs me my peace, it's too damn expensive. That became my new filter, a personal boundary, my way back to the center. Now let's reframe something. No isn't rejection. No is direction. Every no is a compass point, a reminder of what matters, a chance to choose alignment over obligation. And yes, some people won't like it, especially the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. But that's okay. Because every time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to your energy, your priorities, your sanity. And you know what? Studies prove it. People who practice assertive communication experience less stress, better sleep, and stronger self-esteem. It's not magic, it's maintenance. So let's talk about burnout. Not the glamorous kind people brag about. I've been so busy. I'm talking about real burnout. The kind where you can't feel joy, where even rest feels like guilt, where you don't even recognize yourself in the mirror. See, Stanford research ties burnout to over 120,000 deaths a year in the US. The World Health Organization calls it a syndrome rooted in chronic, unmanaged stress. And that stress often comes from saying yes over and over and over again. See, boundaries aren't selfish, they're survival. Nedra Glover said it perfectly. Boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges. They connect who I am with how I live. So let your boundaries reconnect you to yourself. So here's your challenge this week. Find one yes you can turn into a no. Maybe it's a meeting you don't have to attend. Maybe it's a favor you're tired of doing. Maybe it's an apology you always give before asserting yourself. Say no. Say it clean. Say it kind. Say it without apologizing. Then pause. Take a breath. I want you to notice how your body feels. Is it tight? Is it relieved? Maybe a little both. I want you to write it down. I want you to reflect on it. Because the more you do this, the louder your own voice becomes. And that voice, it's the real you. See, you weren't born to be agreeable. You were born to be authentic. And sometimes, authenticity sounds like this. No, thank you. So say it. Say it for your peace. Say it for your energy. Say it for the version of you you've been neglecting. If this episode hit home, share it. Send it to someone who gives too much. And tag me at Danny Levin, DANNYLYVIN, so I can see what you're letting go of this week. This is Hard Truths. And today's truth, the most loving thing you can say might be the word no. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.